Hi, I'm Jennifer Posada, and I would love to talk to you today about what an oracle is. So I get this question a lot. What is an oracle? Probably because I call myself an oracle and I call my school the Oracle School and Community, and I teach oracle courses. So generally people want to know, is an oracle the same as an intuitive, a psychic, a medium, a channel, or is there some kind of special difference? And I always say yes and no. And I want to tell you why today. So as you may notice, I'm wearing my special modern day laurel leaf crown. Nowadays, we oracles get to wear even more bling. It's really exciting. And I want to start by telling you about the dictionary definition of an oracle. So my paraphrasing of the general dictionary definition is that an oracle is any person, place, or thing that has revelatory qualities, that is believed to bring forth some kind of message or messages from the divine. So there's also kind of a historical reference, or quite a historical reference for oracles. There are some famous oracles like the Oracle of Delphi, or as it's actually pronounced, Delphi. And then there's the chief oracle of the Dalai Lama, the chief oracle of Tibet. But actually, oracular traditions exist and have existed all over the world, far into what we'd call prehistory. Sometimes these traditions referred to those who practiced them as oracles, and sometimes they were referred to as other titles in the mystical sort of stream, like priestesses or priests or shamanesses or shaman. But these traditions have existed all over the world. So now we come down to my definition of an oracle. And my definition of an oracle is one who remembers, or one who knows themselves. So I tell a story in my book, The Oracle Within, about a history of oracles, starting with when the earth first became solid, which is something that I remember. And we all lived in a great deal of bliss. We remembered very well and very clearly that we were love, that we came from love and that we were love. So everything was pretty beautiful around then. And then at some point, some people began to forget. And that was the beginning of what I call in my book, the Great Forgetting. So as a few people forgot, it wasn't a very big deal. You know, someone nearby would remind them, oh, right, we came from love. We are love, remember? And the person would feel relieved because they had started to experience confusion, disassociation, and everything would be okay again. But the Great Forgetting, which has an incredible purpose, even though it's been very difficult, and we're still experiencing it now, even as the Great Remembering is beginning, which is the most exciting thing of all. But as the Great Forgetting deepened, entire communities began to forget. And usually there'd be another community, someone would travel to another community and be reminded, and then they could go back and remind their own communities. And for a while that worked. But eventually the Great Forgetting became so strong that only a few remembered. And everyone would go see them. And those became the oracles. Those who still were connected to that wisdom, that understanding of love and where we come from and what we really are. So when I say that to be an oracle is to be one who remembers or one who knows themselves, I don't necessarily mean that it's someone who remembers all the time and never forgets. There is, as I mentioned before, a great wisdom in forgetting. And even specifically oracles may forget in a profound way at times in order to return to the remembering and have the wisdom of that path they took through the forgetting and into the remembering. And being one who knows themselves isn't something that you usually just arrive at as a finish line and then you know yourself forever from that point forward. That can happen, but one of the even more enriching ways for it to happen is for knowing yourself to be an ongoing process that happens from moment to moment. So as you have new experiences and encounters, having a way to check with yourself and notice what you're feeling, what you're experiencing, and to tap into that wisdom. So the main way that the oracular traditions that I remember from past lives and that I teach about now, the main way that they remembered and kept remembering was to infuse themselves with self-love. So they did such a wonderful job of nurturing themselves that they had a strong foundation. They knew where that love was and how to remember it and access it and come back to it again and again. And the way that I teach self-love is through self-loving action. So doing things that feel pleasurable, that feel good, comforting, or fun. So on a bad day, it might be something just comforting. On a good day, it might feel really good or fun or pleasurable. But it's taking action that may seem simple, but what it ultimately does is bring you back to yourself. And the deeper you go into this, the more you access the powerful wisdom of all that is within you. So there's no limit to the depths you can take this to. And every time you do something that's self-loving, that brings you back to your own true knowing, you are supporting the great remembering and the entry into the new world that we're moving toward. And you're doing it through a great deal of self-care, which is part of the whole process. It makes you an example of a different way of living through difficult times and through joyous times. So I am honored to know each of you that would be watching this video at this time. Thank you all for joining me. If you like this video, go to my website, jenniferposada.com, and you definitely want to get on my mailing list because that's where I send all my most wonderful goodies, lots of fabulous content, free writings and videos, and also information about my courses. I can't wait to connect with all of you further, and may you have a beautiful, beautiful day.